Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Susie and in today's video we are going to be doing a pen haul. Now it has been a long time since I've done a pen and stationery haul and it's probably been a long time coming. I really tried to not purchase as many new things at the beginning of this year and I lasted a pretty long time. But I decided to grab a few new things and I wanted to share them with you in this video. I will be going over these products and then I will also be swatching most of them for you as well. So I hope you enjoy. If you are not already following me over on Instagram, you can find me at howtohandletter for more hand lettering tips and pen swatches and lots of other fun things. So I will link that below, but again, it is just at howtohandletter over on Instagram. And let's get right into testing the pens. So the first two packs of pens that I'm showing you are the Papermate Inkjoy gel pen, and then the next one is actually a marker, the Sharpie markers. And the reason that I purchased these was because I found them on clearance at Target. I want to say that they were each about $5 or somewhere around there. So that is just a reminder, if you are ever at Target, to check out their clearance section if you are looking for pens. And I have tried out both of these before. The Papermate Inkjoy gel pens, I have only purchased the pack of the click pens, but this one came with some being click pens and then some had caps. And so I think or assume that they write the same and all of those things, but I thought that for the price it was worth grabbing another pack of these. I will say that this pen in the past has not been my absolute favorite because I sometimes have problems with it skipping. But I really do like the pen overall when it doesn't skip, so again, for the price I thought it was great. And you'll see the swatches here, but I am using a very smooth paper. I'm using a Rhodia dot grid journal and the paper is really nice and smooth. I bought this journal before to test out and I really liked it. I was surprised how much I liked it. And so I decided from now on that when I get new pens and I do swatches, I'm just going to keep them in this notebook only. I have had other notebooks that I thought maybe would be for my swatches, but I just really like smooth paper. So even other dot grid journals that I've tried, even though the paper might be thicker or brighter white, I really just like practicing hand lettering on a smooth paper. And so that's why I decided to go with this. So I purchased this new one only to be used for swatches and I'm going to try to keep it organized. I have already done several pages in it with swatches just because of doing this pen haul video. So hopefully you will see it for many videos to come. But just keep that in mind when I'm hand lettering that I am using a pretty smooth paper. And the next pack that I have is this pack of Sharpies. Now I know that Sharpies aren't necessarily a marker that I would often use for hand lettering, but again, they were a really good deal and I am a homeschool mom, so when I go to grab supplies at the beginning of the year, Sharpies are something that is sometimes helpful for me to have, but I don't usually want to spend the money, and so since I found them on clearance, I decided to grab them. But I also really like them because the colors that came with them were really pretty, and then they also came with the metallic colors. Now I only wrote hi with these. I think all of the other ones I wrote hello. And if you are watching this video, I would be really curious to know how many times you think I wrote hello in this video through all of these pen swatches. So feel free to take your guess and leave it in the comments below. I will tally them all up. I actually don't know, so I will tally them all up at the end and I will let you know if you're right. But I don't really like smelling the Sharpies when I'm using them, so I decided to just write something that would go a little more quickly. I want to point out that one of these metallic markers was not really working very well. It seemed like it was kind of dried out. So I don't know if that's just because maybe it was on the shelf for a long time, but you can kind of see that when I test out the metallic markers. So the next pens that I have are the Amazon Basics felt tip pens. And first, let me just acknowledge that there is a lot of packaging for this little pack of pens. However, it's not plastic, so I'm not sure which is better, to have all of this cardboard used or the other ones that came in a smaller package, but it was a plastic package. Either way, I know it's a lot of packaging. But these are a small felt tip pen, so they are not large like your Papermate flares where you kind of feel like it's a little bit of a marker on the end. This to me definitely feels like more of a pen, and I really like that about it. Overall, I really liked this one. When I did the swatches, I do notice afterwards that the pink has some dark spots where I connected my letters. So I don't know if it's from lifting up my pen and then putting it back down on the same spot that it just got really dark. I did check to see if it was bleeding through the page when I first started filming this, and it doesn't really look like it did, except for that one spot where the end of the H meets the first stroke of the next E in the pink color. So I don't know if it's just because maybe I held my pen down a little bit longer, but for the most part, the rest of them look pretty good. I don't think any of the rest of them bled through, but there is just like that little dot where I lifted up my pen and then put it back down in the same spot where it gets a little bit darker. So it's not a huge deal for me at all, but it's just something to be aware of if that bothers you. But I thought that this pack was really nice, and I think that part of it for me is I just really like this type of a pen, and so I think that was a bonus for me. This pack of pens also had really pretty colors, and I do think I'll be using these a lot when it comes to monoline hand lettering. If you guys aren't familiar with monoline hand lettering, that is the style that I'm writing when I'm using these pens or the other ballpoint pens or gel pens, and that is just where you have one thickness all the way through your letters, which is different from brush lettering because in brush lettering, we put thickness on our downstrokes and then our upstrokes get a little bit thinner. And so when I say monoline hand lettering, I just mean one thickness the whole way through. And that's what you see with a lot, if not all of these pens that I'm using in this video. If you are curious about that, I have a worksheet set called the Eloise that is a monoline script hand lettering style. And I will link that in the description box below with a discount code as well if you are interested. But I just wanted to point that out for those of you who are curious. So the next two packs of pens that I have here are the Iconic two-way pen. And these are actually a fine and thick style of like pen or highlighter. So the one side feels kind of like the pen that I just used, the Amazon Basics, but I think that it writes maybe a little bit less. I don't know if it's thinner or if it just feels like there's less ink coming out because of the colors, but it does feel a little bit similar. I'm not quite sure if it's a felt tip pen, but it just says fine and thick two-way color pastel pen. And so these were just something new that I decided to try. And then they have the highlighter on the other side. And you will see when I do the swatches that they're definitely two different sets. The first set, I absolutely love the colors. They kind of feel like some of the pens that I'm going to show you later on, which are vintage colored pens, and they are just really pretty, and I loved using those, but I feel like they wrote really lightly, so I'm not positive how much use that I will get out of the lighter ones or the brighter ones, just because I want them to be able to show up on the paper. So these are probably something that would be really good for like note-taking in a book or something like that, where you don't want a really dark or thick pen. And that's probably what they're for since they have the highlighter on the other side. So in that case, I could see myself getting a lot of use out of them when I'm like taking notes in my Bible or a notebook or something like that. But I'm not sure that I'd see myself hand lettering on a worksheet with them quite as much. So this next one that I have for you is called an outline marker, and I know there are a lot of different brands on Amazon, so I will link the one that I purchased in the description box below, but I just thought that these would be fun to try. And I guess I was wrong about the hello thing. I guess I did write hi with these as well. But these are something I did not put in my dot grid journal because I had a feeling that they would bleed pretty badly, so I decided to just do them on my HP Premium paper. And if you follow me over on Instagram and watch my Instagram stories, you probably saw me use these there first because I did test them out there and people were really curious what this marker was. And it kind of dries with maybe like a silver look on the inside. And then it kind of has the color outlined on the outside. I don't know if that makes sense. But if you have questions about these, let me know in the comments below and I will try to show these over on Instagram again. Again, if you are not following me there, you can find me at How To Hand Letter. But also, if you are interested in learning how to hand letter, you can find my free 7-day hand lettering course at howtohandletter.com/mini course. I also sell a bunch of printable hand lettering worksheets that can help you with your hand lettering practice. So I will leave my shop in the description box below, and I'll also leave a discount code for you as well. And the next pens that I'm showing you are the Zebra Click Art. If you have been watching my videos for a while, you have seen these already because I first purchased one, and then I purchased one pack, and now I finally purchased, I think this might be all of them, I'm not sure. But I saw these on Prime Day and I decided to grab the whole set. I purchased just one at first because again, they are not cheap. But then I liked it so much, I went and grabbed another pack, and now I'm excited to have all these different colors. I like these a lot, but I think that the thing that sold me is that they really do seem to not dry out quickly. One of the websites that I was reading on, I think it was Tokyo Pen Shop where I got my first one. If not, I'll link it below. But one of the websites I read said that these markers are made to not dry out quickly. And one of mine actually got left open for a while, and because it's a marker, I assumed that it would not work anymore, and it totally worked. So that kind of made me feel like they are worth the price. And so that is why I decided to just grab this set on Prime Day. Again, if you would like a full review of these, let me know what questions you have in the comments below, and I can work on getting that for you. Now the next pens that I have are the Zig Clean Color dot markers, and they are a pen on one side and a dot on the other. Now these are not the cheapest pens, and that's why I have a 4-pack, because they get pretty expensive when you buy the larger packs, but my friend Sarah from Inside Insights told me that these are really fun pens to try, so I wanted to try them. So then I kind of thought, as I was thinking about buying them, that it would be really useful to have that dot for like list making or maybe even bullet journaling, things like that, because instead of drawing a box for like every task, which I don't really like doing, it's so tedious and they just don't really look good when I draw a ton of boxes. They just get all crooked or different sizes. And so I thought this would actually be a really fun way, instead of using boxes, to just draw a bunch of dots down my lists, and then I could just check off the box, or the dot, I guess, not the box. And I thought that would be a super efficient way to do bullet journaling. And so I decided that because of that, these might be worth it. I don't see myself actually like lettering with that dot size. It's more for creating the dots that you see me testing out, and you can do a few different sizes. And so I thought, even just for color coding, I see a lot of people in their planners doing like little dot stickers for color coding. And this is just super fast compared to like peeling off a sticker and putting it on. Just using that side for your dots. Honestly, I think it's kind of a game changer for me when it comes to bullet journaling, because some of the things that I struggle with in bullet journaling are those like more tedious tasks where I've like drawn like 31 boxes for that month, and then they're all crooked looking and it kind of bothers me at the end of the day, but I spent so much time doing it. So I thought this was just maybe going to be kind of a game changer for me. I haven't used them in a bullet journal yet because I've taken a little time off, but I plan to start again very soon, now that we are getting back into a little bit more of a routine, even though it's a different routine, but I plan on using that very soon. So the next pens that I have are these Zebra Sarasa 0.7 pens. So this one I believe gives you a slightly thicker line, and I really, really liked this pen because of that. I like the way it writes. I like the thickness. I must not be a super, super fine pointed pen person because I really like this one. Even though I really like the vintage color, I think it's the 0.5, I'll show you in a little bit, but I really liked this size, I think a little bit better, and so I will be using these a lot. I'm not necessarily, like I definitely would choose the vintage colors over these, but size-wise, I really like these. So I already have the black pen down with my school stuff so I can use it on a daily basis because I really like that one, and I will use these other colors, but if I could find this size in the vintage colors, I would for sure buy that one. And I think that set would be used quite often. So I'm actually not sure if the vintage colors come in this size. I haven't looked, but if I find them, I will link them in the description box below. Otherwise, I may have to look and see if this size comes in any other colors. But it totally makes me see why this pen is a favorite of a lot of people's. And if you already use the Zebra Sarasa, let me know which size that you like in the comments below. I'd be curious to know if I'm like the only one that likes this bigger size, or if one is more preferred than the other. This is probably just a personal preference, but I was a big fan of this one. So here we are on to the Rytech vintage color gel pens, and as you can see, there are 2 different packs of the vintage colors, and then I also have another set of Rytech pens that I'm testing out. The vintage colors have a set that's 101 and then a set that's 102. So the 101 is kind of like the darker colors, and the 102 is that one that I was mentioning that has kind of like maybe pastels or brighter vintage colors. And again, I really enjoyed these. I don't really have like a huge preference between the Zebra Sarasa and these ones. Maybe the test will be to see how long they last. So I haven't had these for a super long time, but before I do a comparison video, I can try to write out one of them, or at least use them for a really long time, write on a few pages, and see if I can get one to perform any differently than the other. I'm not saying they're identical for sure, but I just didn't have a huge preference one over the other. I thought that they were both really nice. And here is that beautiful second color of vintage colors. And again, I don't know if the Zebra Sarasa has this second color, but if it does, I would definitely purchase it, especially if it's in that 0.7 size. But I am definitely enjoying these for now, and I think that I will get a lot of use out of these. And here's the third set of these Rytech pens that I got. This one is the liquid roller pens, and they're a 0.5 size. And this is just a different style of a pen if you prefer this over a gel pen. I'm not really sure what I prefer, but they both give a really nice finished result. These are maybe just a personal preference if you like to write or draw with these liquid roller type of pens. They do seem to have some similar colors to the vintage colors, though I don't think they're identical, but they're just a really nice fall colored palette in my opinion. And they are just another monoline style where you're getting that one thickness, so I probably wouldn't say that I needed all of these pens in my stash. I would probably pick one of the three that I just showed. But like I said, I think it's kind of a personal preference if you like to use this kind of a pen. And also just one thing to note, I'm not really seeing any bleeding on the back of my paper. I definitely see ghosting with most of these, if not all of them. But I don't really notice any bleeding through my journal with these swatches. So thank you so much for watching. If you would like to see more pen hauls, let me know what pen recommendations you have or which pens you would like to see me test out. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.